Okay, we are recording.
Okay, we'll call the Heritage Lake Property Owners Association meeting for February the 8th to order at 7 p.m. Thanks everyone for attending. If you would join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. We'll start that first. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
And to
the republic
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for that. Thank you. Presentation of agenda. Any additions or corrections for the agenda? Board members, please. If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented then.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Presentation of the minutes from January the 11th board meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to that? If not, I'll take a motion to accept them as presented.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. January 25th operation meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thank you, everyone. Treasurer's report, Jimmy Johnson, please.
Thank you, Rick. Our total accrued income for the month of January is $99,742, with a total expenses of $69,607, leaving a income balance of $30,135. This is a perfect opportunity to explain how our accrual accounting works. We didn't get $99,742 in. That's what our annual budget is divided by 12. And our expenses, we didn't pay out that much in expenses, but that's what our annual expenses are divided by 12. So that's a snapshot of how our cash flow is kind of distorted by that. Having said that, if you look at the next section, our short-term cash is only $30,100, but that's in January. When you see our short-term cash at the end of next month, after the assessments have started rolling in, you'll see how it works. January is the worst, it's the bleakest of all months. And then February, and from there it goes up as our assessments are received. So the total amount of our investments, which are made up of CDs and money market by Deborah's accounting, is $477,032. Any questions?
The meeting's going on. If you want to hear it, I don't know if you do or not.
Hang on, I'll mute that.
Thank you, Rick.
No questions. That's my report.
Thank you, Jim. Old Business Forum, General Rules 2021, Ken Roselle.
You want me to read the manager's report before we go into that?
Did I skip that?
Yes, you did, sir.
I apologize.
That's all right. I don't have a whole lot here. The assessment amount for this year is reported to be $256. This is calculated from the Consumer Price Index, and in no way does Heritage Lake have any say-so in the assessment amount. People always seem to ask that question. The fee is due on or before April 1st, and the late fees will be assessed beginning May 1st. Also want to announce that applications are being accepted for positions at the marina and to fill a couple positions with the maintenance department. Applications can be picked up at the office, or you can email the HLPOA at ccrtc.com and request an application to be sent to you. Anyone looking for work close to home, this is a great opportunity. The past recent snow events that we've had, the office has experienced several calls asking if the POA has had trucks out plowing the roads. The answer is no. The county does a lot of our side streets. I seen them out today. They have a white truck with a sander in the back. The roads are the responsibility of the county highway department. The only agreement I have recently made with them is they have supplied a triaxle load of sand free to the community because I told them that I have been working a lot of accidents, slide-off accidents into the trees on the Gettysburg Hill between exit 49 and 50. The POA does have a spreader, and I was out Sunday morning and applied sand to the hill because it was reported being slick. So that's the only agreement that I have got with the county. So they are plowing the roads, not us. Lastly, make sure that if you're registering a boat, please do not forget to take the boating test in advance to save yourself a lot of time. This can be taken at the office or online. If you choose to take it online, just go to your website, go to our website, go to the information, then documents, and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and the test will be there for you to take. And that's it.
Can I ask a question, Ken?
Absolutely.
There was some reports that some type of quote unquote tool truck had knocked down a number of mailboxes. Have you heard anything on that?
I've heard the same thing as you heard. I don't know who it did, but I just seen on the news tonight that Hendricks County experienced the same thing. The snow was very heavy and wet. I don't believe for 1 minute it's a bunch of plow blades that are running over the signs. It's just the wet, heavy snow that is snapping them. That's what Hendricks County was experiencing, and I think that's what we experienced here. I think the snow plow just coming through and the weight of it was knocking them off. That was some very, very heavy, wet snow. I worked that night throughout that snowstorm, and that was some of the most treacherous roads I have driven on. But I think I don't believe for 1 minute that people was hitting up with their mailbox. I know that there's some people that have got new plows and they're out feeling like they're doing the community a favor by plowing. Some people grumble about it. You know, some people are happy that they got their roads cleaned out. But I just think it was the wet, heavy snow that had damaged the mailboxes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, we'll just go to the old business general rules 2021. Ken Roselle again.
Okay, this is for the second vote. The general rules was sent out to you. The only request was, with Tom's request, was to remove anything pertaining to the lake rules and to include ATV and golf cart requiring insurance while on common property. Unless there's anything else to be added or subtracted, we can move forward with the book. I know that Deborah had sent one out today. I just had a brief chance to go over it. I did not see anywhere in there where it required ATV and golf carts requiring insurance. Do you remember anything about that being in there, Deborah?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all right.
I mean, I could
It
review
is
it tomorrow.
It's just for reference. It's on page 8.
Okay. Just as long as it's in there, that was Tom's request, and I just didn't see it. So if there's any other, if it's in there and there's no other request, then I think we're ready to vote for a second one to put this into bed.
Anybody want to present that as a motion, please?
Present it as a motion to approve the finalized general rules book.
I
Do
second.
we have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. That's our second vote. It has been approved. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
For the record, I voted for AJ.
Right. You did have AJ's vote. Thank you, Paul.
Mhm.
New business bylaw amendment 2021, Paul Forbes.
Okay, this is the first reading for the attachment in the bylaws. This attachment will be, I think you all got a copy of this, thanks to my buddy Jim. I didn't know if I was going to be at the meeting on time, so he was going to take care of this. This particular suggestion into the bylaws or improvement to the bylaws or addition to the bylaws will be added to Article 7, Section, oh no, I should have wrote this down, but I got here late. Oh, Section 3 under I. The I note, which is that the board may employ a management agent under such terms as the board shall find in its discretion reasonable and customary. The managing agent, if any, shall assist the board in carrying out its duties, which include but are not limited to, and it lists all those duties. Under I, it says enforcing, this is the original under the rules, it says enforcing the covenants, restrictions, bylaws, and rules and regulations in the declaration, articles, bylaws, or adopted by the board, semicolon. We will add the following: adopt and enforce rules, regulations reasonably necessary as determined in the sole direction of the board of directors. Excuse me a minute. Okay, sorry about that. To ensure that all primary and secondary owners, their families, guests, and invitees utilize Heritage Lake and all Heritage Lake common areas in a safe and reasonable manner. The rules may provide for a schedule of fines and sanctions, which may be imposed on the primary and secondary owners for violation of those rules. Sanctions may include, but not limited to, monetary fines and the loss of Heritage Lake and common area privileges. The primary and secondary owners shall be responsible for the acts and omissions of all family members and their guests and invitees while on Heritage Lake or any Heritage Lake common area. The rules shall be in writing and shall be made reasonably available to primary and secondary owners. The rules shall also be available on the Heritage Lake website. The rules shall include an appeal procedure whereby an aggrieved primary or secondary property may appeal the imposition of any sanction or fine. The aggrieved primary and secondary owner, at their sole expense, may be represented by an attorney at any appeals hearing. The board of directors shall conduct a hearing on all appeals which are timely initiated. The hearing shall be open to all primary and secondary owners. The board of directors shall maintain written minutes of all appeal hearings. In conformance with Article 1, wake up everyone. In conformance with Article 1, Section 4 of these bylaws, each primary and secondary owner agrees to be bound by and follow the rules and to fully comply with any sanction and timely pay any fine permitted by these rules. The board of directors are empowered to initiate legal action to enforce the rules and compel compliance with any sanction and collect any fine, including but not limited to seeking injunction relief. In the event such legal action is required, the Board of Directors shall also be entitled to recover costs and attorney's fees as provided in Article 10 of the bylaws. Under no circumstance shall the Board of Directors or Heritage Lake POA be required to post any form of surety bond to obtain injunctive relief. Nothing contained herein is intended to and shall not create any duty or obligation to any third-party beneficiary. The Board of Directors and the employees of Heritage Lake POA shall not have any liability to any primary or secondary owner or their family members, guests, and invitees, or any trespasser arising from or related to the adoption, implementation, or enforcement of rules. Why am I getting this?
Echo.
Echo.
I can only guess it's an internet thing.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's because Grant came on and he caused.
Yeah, Grant did it.
That's all.
Grant did it.
Good job, Paul.
Thank you. After the first reading,
Good job, Paul.
thank you. After the first reading, thank you. This is very terrible. After the first reading, I make a motion that we adopt. After the first reading, I make a motion that we adopt and put it in section I, letter I, under section 3 of Article 7. Section 3
Second.
of Article 7.
Second.
Well, I don't lose
Yes, we have a motion. Did we get a second?
You did.
Jake, a second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Paul.
Yep. For the record, I have Grant's proxy.
Okay, and Grant's on here.
I mean, I'm sorry, I have AJ's proxy. I'm looking at Grant, you know, I'm getting this feedback and it's really confusing me. I feel like a sci-fi movie.
I think everybody's getting it, Paul. I'm getting it as well.
Okay.
And it is rather annoying. I said that again, didn't I?
Hello.
Write-offs. Deborah.
Okay, this is the 2020 request for write-offs. The total started at 19,142. And of those, three are on hold.
That's weird.
On hold.
That's weird.
Those total 3372.75. 3372.75. So the synopsis is write-off 14,888. Excuse me, plus 880. I'm sorry. Total is 15,769.30. Total is 15,769.30.
I motion to write off.
There's a definite echo going on, folks, and the only thing I can guess is someone's microphone is causing it. I just don't know what to do about it. If you can mute your microphone when you're not speaking,
I'm muting right now.
Is the echo gone now?
It is for you, right? Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. Great idea. Thanks, Rick. Jim made a motion. Did we get a second? I did not hear a second.
I'll second Jim's motion.
Thank you, Tom. Now, at this time, I'm going to ask, can everybody that agrees say aye, please?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, with that, does any nays? Okay, it's so moved. Thank you, everyone. AJ's not on here yet. Says Ken Roselle, do you have stuff to talk about there in AJ's absence?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me without an echo?
Yes, it sounds great right now.
Okay. All righty. The young lady, Grace Fisher, that proposed, what she proposed was swimming lessons, and she wanted to charge the student herself, and recommended as basically being a sole proprietor, and the POA having the insurance for coverage. I spoke with our attorney and our insurance agent, and both talked very highly against it for liability reasons. She would have to sign some things that would hold us harmless and all this kind of stuff. So they both recommended her being an employee. So I communicated to Grace. We have got a deal worked out to where she is going to become an employee. That way she will be covered under, and the student will be covered under our umbrella. And she will do it during the early morning hours before the pool would get busy. So we've got that ironed out as far as her being an employee. I did ask her, as long as everything got approved, that she would come in and pick up an application to get filled out to have online or have on file. And so that's where we stand. She was willing to do that, so she didn't have to cover the insurance.
Ken, will she then be retaining all the fees?
No, all the money will be all the lessons will be run through our register at the pool, and then she will be retaining a portion of that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll be able to cover FICA and our payroll taxes and
yes,
all that other stuff. Okay, that's good. That's a good conclusion.
So that's where we're at with that. I don't know that, I'm not sure whether that takes a vote or not, with her being, it's our advice from the attorney and our insurance, and she cooperated with it. So you tell me whether you need a vote on that or not.
And
I would think that would be in the discretion of the manager.
Okay. I would agree, but I wasn't sure.
Ken, will she have to sign any documents prepared by our attorney?
Not if she's an employee. She would if we went the other route.
Ken, I want to thank you for going to all that trouble to check out what we needed to do to be covered. I'm all for it. As everybody, all the other board members agreed to tell Ken, go ahead and hire this young lady, and we'll have us hire this young lady. It's back again.
Has there been any discussion regarding the percentage?
Tommy, I think we ought to leave that with Ken. I mean, he's the manager.
That should be Ken's call.
I agree.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, John. Anyone else have any questions of Ken of this before we change topics? If not, Ken, the board does approve this. Did we have 5 board members that agreed? 4, 5, 6, 7?
Agreed.
Okay, I heard 3, Jimmy, John, Grant, you were agreed, right?
Yes.
Steve?
Yep.
Okay, Paul? Tom, did you agree?
Yes.
Thank you. Paul? Did Paul say yes?
You must be having pain from the COVID shot.
I think that's a yes.
Put your thumbs up, Paul, if that's a yes, because you're on mute.
I don't even see him.
There he is.
Move over, Jimmy. Move that arrow, the blue arrow at the top.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how I got on mute. I never hit anything.
We've got a muter guy.
2 votes.
Okay. You and AJ, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I hacked into your
Not that we have to vote on it, but yeah, I got 2 votes.
But I just want us all to give Ken the permission. That's all. I want to make sure we're unanimous, and we were. So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I think
with
it's a
that,
good
Kenny.
thing for the. Thank you. I think it's a good thing for the community. We've had some requests on this probably about every summer. So I'll look forward to see how well this works.
Okay. We're done with that one, I guess. Any other questions before we move on? POA Zoom account says Tom Novak on my agenda.
That's me. I think I'm unmuted.
Yes, you are.
Go for it, Tommy.
Oh,
I just wanted to bring up a refresher of the Zoom pricing that we discussed at our last ops meeting. As I remember the discussion, I had initially started out with the Pro package, and I believe AJ recommended to go with the business package. I think his recommendation was based on the fact of the larger number of participants that this Zoom meeting could avail itself of. One of the other remarks that I wanted to make is my intention is not only to use it to host our board, our ops meetings, we can also then use it to host an executive session if we feel one is necessary. My intention is to make this available to all of our committees, all of our clubs. Those have been reported in several write-ups. I could go through them if the rest of the group requires it. What is a committee? What is a group or a club? Would you like me to do that?
I don't find it necessary unless other board member thinks they want to have you explain it.
Nope.
Nope.
Tom, is it just more or less a recognized committee or club that we've already had, essentially?
Let me just quickly go through that. I'll bring it up on the screen I think everybody could see it. We have an audit committee, a campground committee, a cleanup committee, a lake committee, a long-term planning committee, a siltation committee, election committee, government committee, garden club, neighborhood activities, Heritage Lake highlights, card groups. I don't know how they would use it, but it certainly is possible. Heritage Heartland Homemakers. Those are the ones that I had envisioned offering this opportunity to.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I may be, I'm not following the logic only because any one of these groups can use Zoom. Zoom is free. All they have to do is set up a Zoom, have their members, meet them on a Zoom, just like I do with my family or anybody else does with their groups, and they got a meeting. I don't think I don't know. It just seems like we're almost setting up more work for. If I got a club here in Heritage Lake, I have to call up the office, get them to do something so that I can get on Zoom with my people, or I can set up a Zoom. This seems to be overkill. I don't know.
Just to clarify something, Paul, maybe to address your question of overkill. Number one, when you set up a meeting with your family, if it's a one-on-one meeting, in other words, you're the host, you have one participant, you have unlimited time. If you add any more participants, like let's say you set up a meeting, you being the host, and let's say, for example, I being one participant and Jim Johnson being a second participant, with the free Zoom account, you're limited to 40 minutes per meeting.
Okay.
So that, I think that clarifies it. Basically, with either the pro or the business account, it's 30 hours at least on the pro account. And I believe on the business account, it's unlimited. If not, it's at least 30 hours.
Tommy, would we have to appoint a administrator of all users, or would we be giving away online access, you know, the passwords and all that kind of stuff to anybody who could pass it along to any other person outside our community?
Well, to answer the first question regarding the administrator or the owner of the account, the owner of the account would be the POA. I'd be more than happy, and I will come in and set that up with Ken's assistance. We will then, Ken and I or myself will then send an invitation to administrators. And an administrator could basically create a meeting. Those administrators would either be, in my belief, the committee group president / chairperson. As an alternative, if the chair or president decides, it could be a vice president. But my assumption and what I would ask the group to do is to make it one of your officers. With regard to your second question, I guess you would have to say it would have to be somewhat on honesty, because yes, if a chair is set up as an administrator, yes, that chair could share their password with someone else.
Tommy, that could go global.
If people are not honest and upright.
Yeah, I got that. I got you. You're right about the honesty.
You are correct. I guess maybe I err on the side of caution, not caution, but optimism that our chair people and our presidents are honest people, and they're getting a service, and I would hope they would respect that service just like they respect the ability to use any common property. Other questions? With that being said, if there are not other questions, basically I'm going to start out with a motion to suppress the second reading or second approval. So I have a motion on the floor, number one, to suppress the second reading or vote on this particular issue.
Have we already voted on it?
No, sir.
I don't even know if this would come under the category of needing 2 votes.
It's 100.
His motion included suppression of the second vote, so we're only going to do one if it passes. All
right, I'll motion that we not have a second. I'll motion that we not have a second.
Okay, so that was a second of my motion. Can I see approval for that motion. I see approval for that motion. Okay, so if we don't have an approval for that motion, I guess it's a dead motion. I guess it's a dead motion. Is that correct, board? Is that correct, board?
That's the way I saw it, unless I missed something.
Okay, so that means it's going to take 2 votes. My current motion is that the POA subscribe to Zoom as a business, small business, medium business entity for $199.90 per year license. That's my motion.
Do we have a second for Tom's motion?
Rick, can we have some discussion?
Sure.
I'm now not talking to you, Rick Huddleston. I'm talking to Rick. Rick, this is a big burden for you to be doing this thing for us. And I know you generously share your time, and thank you for that. Would it be helpful if, and this is without regard for Tom's essential motion, just as a general proposition, would it help you, Rick, if we had our own, because we're on yours right now, right?
Yes.
So if we either paid for yours or had our own, would that be helpful to you?
Well, it's no burden on me. I think, whoever hosts the Zoom meeting, somebody separate from the board can be helpful, just like the audio things. I'm trying to keep people muted to keep that echo from happening. So someone separate from the board can do that and let you guys focus on the business. But so it's not a question for me. I'm paying for my subscription through the HLCS company, so it does not cost me personally anything. So I should not be the primary consideration there.
All right, this is to the rest of the board. And again, Tom, this is outside your motion. I'm just talking about this other issue. We presently allow Rick to house his entity on our confines because it's in the best interest of our community. I don't believe that you're required to pay us rent for that, right, Rick?
It's very cheap rent. Trust me on that.
Okay. Well, since we've already acceded to that, then might we, as a leasehold improvement, add a Zoom account to our expenses and take that burden off Rick, and it be our account, which he would have freedom to use for HLCS as much or as little as he wanted to. Now, that's not a motion. I'm just bringing this up as an option that we might want to consider if we decide we don't want to go with Tom's idea. All right, I'll shut up for a minute.
How does your idea differ from mine? I'm confused.
Well, it differs greatly because it would confine the virtually all access to the Zoom account to Rick. In your model, it's, you would be, I'm just going to call you the general administrator, but then you would share to surrogates different passwords would they be able to access. This would not include that.
So therefore clubs would not be able to use it, or committees will not be able to use it?
I don't know that they wouldn't be able to use it, but they certainly wouldn't have access to a password. And if for some reason
they could not use it unless they're set up as administrators, or the burden of creating a committee's Zoom session would fall on Rick.
I think I'm going to say yes to what you said. I'm not sure. That was kind of convoluted, but I think that I've got grave would be an overstatement, but I have concerns about our password being available without controls. And I was only bringing this up as an option, Tom. So why don't we just table what I said, and then you just go forward with what you're.
Well, Tom has a motion on the floor at the moment. You asked for discussion. We allowed discussion. Is there anyone else that wants to have discussion before I ask for a second again for Tom's motion?
Just so I can clarify, basically to establish a POA Zoom account, when that account would be established as a business, small business, medium business, then administrators could be assigned to use that account. They would have their own password, so it wouldn't be a shared password. The only item that Jim brought up is, yes, committee chairs, presidents, etc., who would be administrators, could, if they choose, share their password. But it wouldn't be a password associated with a POA account. It would be their password that they'd be sharing.
But that password is on the POA account, correct?
It would be for that individual to use it as an administrator on the POA account, correct?
Okay.
And for the hours that they used it, that would be set against our limits.
That is also correct, but it's not hours. Yes, I'm sorry, you are correct. It would be hours, and I believe the hours would be 30 hours.
Any other questions before I ask for a second on Tom's
The only other thing I want to encourage all board members is this would give us the opportunity to do executive sessions where we would be able to discuss personnel matters, etc. And we haven't had that privilege in months.
Anyone else have questions or comments before we go further? If not, I'll ask for a second for Tom's motion for the second time.
I second Tom's motion.
And that was Grant. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, let's have a vote. All in favor of Tom's motion, please say aye.
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 Okay, I got 3, is that correct? I want to get this right, guys, and I heard an echo there, I thought. Let's go opposed. All the nays.
Nay.
Nay. Twice.
Okay, I've got 3 to 3 in my count. Is that what you guys got too?
Steve, what'd you vote?
Oh, I was muted. I said nay.
All right, John has nay.
I didn't hear Steve's. I didn't count Steve's, I don't think.
I said yes.
Okay, you were one of the 3?
Yes.
I heard Grant, Tom, and Steve, I guess.
Yes, I would. What I heard is Jim Johnson voted nay. Let me see, Paul Forbes voted nay, both for himself and AJ, and I heard John Reedy voted nay.
4 to 3, that's 7 votes. That's the total votes of the board. Motion did not pass.
I want to make a counter motion, and I think it gets us to the same flexibility that Tom wants if we decide we want to go that way. I motion that the POA purchase at least the, Tommy, what were the two tiers? The low tier was like 149 and the other was 199. Tom, you got to unmute. Unmute, Tom.
149 was the pro and 199 was the higher up one. That's the one he wanted to go with, was the 199.
All right, you with us, Tom, on what we just said?
He's muted right now.
I'm here.
Okay, those numbers are right? 149 versus 199?
And some change, but yes.
All right, now I'm going to go to Grant. Grant, do you believe that the difference between those two, that the $50 per, now this is yearly, right, Tom?
That's correct.
That the $50 is a value to us as an organization?
I would say no, I don't think so. I don't think we would need more than the minimum amount. I mean, more than the free, but the minimum paid, because I don't think we'll ever get 300 people in the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 years to show up to a meeting.
All right, Tom, is it your opinion that we can transition mid-year from one plan to another if we need to?
Absolutely. All you have to do is pay for it.
Okay, let me try to get this motion together. Okay. I motion that the POA purchase a Zoom account for $149 per year. We make that Zoom account available to Rick as administrator. And we authorize Rick.
Are you talking about Rick Huddleston?
No.
Rick Miller.
I want you to think about that for a minute, Paul.
Well, I don't,
okay, Rick Miller. Okay. Let me be specific, Rick Miller. And allow Rick the freedom to make Ken as administrator, sub-administrator, or whatever he is, for purposes of executive session only.
But
I'm saying we would not have Rick Miller involved in executive session.
That makes sense because, you know, that allows someone else to, that's on the executive session, to conduct the meeting. I mean, I used to do the same thing with all my guys. I'd have 40 sales guys on there on a Cisco system. And I had my own password, as many of my colleagues did that were managers in the company. Everyone had their own passwords. You set your own password and then you distributed it to the people that were going to be at the meeting so you could sign into the meetings. I think that makes a lot of sense. Whether it's an executive meeting, whether it's a garden club meeting, whatever, they could get the access to set their own password up and hold their own meetings.
So
let me amend it. Let me amend the motion to not say that Ken could be the administrator exclusively for exec. He would have the same freedom as Rick for any meeting. But as Ken is Mr. Technology, he would be depending on Rick to get him turned on.
I would think you would
do not put that in the minutes.
Ken would be able to set up the meeting and set a password for the meeting, if I'm not mistaken, Rick Miller. Is that right?
Yes, you can set up different passwords using the same meeting codes, or you can use different meeting codes and different passwords.
But what you must remember is Rick Miller has to initiate the meeting. he has to be part of the meeting unless Ken Roselle is an administrator, so he could be the host of the meeting. Let's be clear on that.
Can Roselle be a co-administrator?
Ken Roselle could be an administrator. He could host meetings, just like Rick Miller,
gotcha.
Administrator, and he could host meetings.
Can Ken be an administrator on this Zoom account, Rick?
Yes.
Again, I'm having a problem. I guess my biggest problem here is we have the wheel, we're using it, and if Ken can be an administrator on this particular situation, this is not about the money. This is cheaper than shit to buy something like that for a year. But is it necessary? And is it confusing? Or do we need more people to get involved? Is it more than what we're doing right now? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Paulie, I just don't think it's right for us to homestead on Rick Miller.
I agree.
And so we would.
Yeah, this is not our account.
This is not
somebody else's.
Yeah. So, and we're only by the grace of Rick Miller that we're even doing this and his commitment to our community. And thank you again for all you've done. But if we can do this, I think what we've done is we've kind of corralled this whole thing, because Tom, the future, and Grant, I'm talking to you too, the future is where you're going. It's not where we're at. And this gives us a framework that as we get more comfort, maybe we can move out into other areas, but we'll have the account established and we won't be walking on the back of Rick Miller.
So does anybody want to read Jim Johnson's motion back to us?
Well, let me just give it again because I've changed it so many times.
Why don't you just start your motion right now?
All right, I motion that the POA purchase a Zoom account at the level that is 149 and some change, whatever that number is, that we make that account available as administrators to only two persons. One would be Rick Miller. The other would be Ken Roselle.
Just to append, let's have this as one vote only.
And have this as one vote only.
Thank you.
Is that your motion, Jimmy?
Yes.
Before we, okay, it's been second.
Well, we can discuss.
May I just ask one question from Ken, since he's going to be the co-administrator? Does this sound pretty good to you, Ken? You okay with this? Or?
Yeah, I think you know, I can figure it out once, you know, Rick gives me some guidance. I think it'd be fine.
I'd be more than happy to help you also, Ken.
Well,
okay.
Paul, I don't know if you noticed, I was looking at Ken very carefully. He was writing all of his friends and neighbors that he was going to give his account number to. So.
Oh, no. Ken would share his password. I can't believe that.
No, I'm sure he won't do that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion before we vote?
Question or comment from the audience? Dick Werner.
Forrest, that was great.
Actually, no comments from the audience until forum. Dick, I'm sorry.
All right.
With that, we'll just go ahead with the vote. All in favor, say aye, and slowly, one at a time, please.
Aye, Tom Novak.
Aye, Steve Hampton.
John, aye.
Aye, twice.
So moved. I think I got 7. I think everybody voted. Is that correct? That I marked 7 down, but I did get a couple of echoes on that. So moved.
So Ken and Rick, will this be able to take place tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the office tomorrow. Ken, if you're available, we can.
I've got a pretty busy day. Starting at 10:30. So if we could do it early in the morning, that's about it. Before 10:30.
Rick, do you know when your renewal is?
I don't know what the rutch is, but.
But no, I'm talking to Rick when his renewal is.
I'm not sure. I think it might be coming up in March or April, so it's not too far from now.
I was just hoping to get this accomplished so that therefore we could send out the notice for the annual meeting under our account to answer anybody's questions regarding why it should be happening.
I'm sure we can have it set up before then, Tom.
Rick, thanks again for everything that you do for the POA.
It's okay. It's not a burden. I enjoy doing it. I'm at these meetings now anyway, so it's all good.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Can we move forward? I have down that the next ops meeting is supposedly scheduled for February 22nd. At that time, Tom, have you started on getting in touch with the committee chairs?
I've contacted every committee chair. Every committee chair has indicated their report will be given by Zoom. They're comfortable with that. If the chair themselves cannot give it, they will give their report to another individual like the vice chair, or just, for example, in Neighborhood Watch's case, April was going to give her report to Deborah to read.
Okay, can you have a list for the agenda and get that to the office for the agenda for the annual meeting? And Rick Miller would need a copy of the agenda because he'll be running the mute and allowing people to come in. Tom?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Can you get a list to the office before the operation meeting on February the 22nd so they can start getting an agenda for the annual meeting with that information of the proper people that'll be reporting for the proper committees, please?
I did send the office a list of all committee chairs' names, so they already have it.
Do they have the list of the people that's going to be reporting for the committees? I don't care who the chairs are. If they're not reporting, I don't need that information.
If I can jump in here, we
Sure.
are collecting all the reports, and I provided the committees and clubs and chairs and phone numbers and all that to Tom, so we have it.
Thank you. That's my question. Thank you, Deborah. So you can you get that to an email to the board, and we can use that as a guideline for our agenda for the annual meeting at the operations meeting on the 22nd?
Yes, so we'll have all that available for you.
Okay, great. And can I ask all the board members to, if they have ideas, concerns, or questions and that they want to add to the annual meeting on the 22nd of February?
Fine. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
One last thing, if I can, for that ops meeting, can I ask Ken to schedule an executive session?
Sure. Ken Roselle or?
Ken Roselle's the other administrator on the account.
That'd be great if Ken, did you get that?
Yes, I did.
Hey, Ken.
Yes.
I expect a very large plaque.
It's going to go right above your mantle right there.
Could you make it in the form of a dartboard?
Hey, look, you guys, this is
loud on the plaque.
Can we mount it to the fish?
Look, this is the last discussion we're going to have as a board that I'm going to be a member of. And
the ops meeting.
It has been, oh, is there still an ops?
Yeah. There still is an ops on the 22nd of February.
And I won't show up. But I want to tell you what a real pleasure it has been to work with all you guys. The stuff that we've been through, the progress we've made, the things that we've done for our community. It's awesome. And I want to thank each one of you for the support that you've given me and the things that I've done. But I particularly want to thank Forbes, because we've been joined at the hip for so many different things, and we're going to be going forward. But it's been, you know, working through the whole thing with the marina. It's been a drudge, but it's also been awesome. And Jim's not on here, Muhlenbeining right now, and Chris isn't on here right now. And I want to, inside our board, I want to thank those people for all they've done. And really, it has been a pleasure and one of the honors of my life to serve with you guys. So thank you.
Okay.
That was insincere. Now I'm going to cry.
Mine was sincere. Anything else? Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Was there going to be an open forum? I think someone.
Oh!
I was going to say open forums.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Who's Dick Warner had a comment earlier. I don't know if we passed up your time on that, Dick, or you still want to go?
I just have a question about going down this road for Zoom meetings. Do we not expect to go back to face-to-face meetings at any time, or?
Right now, there's none scheduled at this time. If
we do face-to-face meetings again, are we going to continue to put that same meeting on Zoom simultaneously?
No, we'll just use the platform that it was on, that people could dial in and watch the meetings from.
Thank you.
Is it, Jim, that's the way you understood your motion, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
that's the answer, Dick.
Sure.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to publicly say, Dick, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to keep the meeting the way it's supposed to be kept, and it took us a while to get through that vote and motions and everything else. And I think if we entered into a discussion before the board voted, we'd be here all night still talking about the same thing. So I apologize if you thought I was rude on that.
No worries. No, I did not think you were rude.
Okay, thanks.
Rick, I have one brief thing. Just an informational note for anybody who sees the video. The annual telephone directories are in the POA office. And of course, that is open now with some social distancing, strict guidelines. When you come in, you'll see those very clearly. But don't want everybody to rush in and bombard the office all at once, but they are there, and the gals in the office will hand them out. They're free to anyone listed in the white pages, and $3 to anyone else.
Thank you very much, Rick. Any questions of Rick? Anyone else have a question or a comment?
I think Summer had her hand up.
I do. I was messaging back and forth with Grant, and I'm going to go ahead and ask if that's okay. So when you guys were talking about committee members, it made me wonder, we have this new concert committee that's gathering a large amount of money, which is awesome. But I don't know, is that something that needs to be voted in formally to become a Heritage Lake committee, or how does that work?
I would think, Summer, that the leadership of that committee is probably very comfortable at not being a formal committee of Heritage Lake. Now, having said that, now this is the gospel according to James. As we go forward in this process, we may establish a committee for entertainment or for community relations or something like that, that these people will come under those auspices. Mm-hmm. Because Ken, are you still with us?
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, donations that are being made by businesses are going through the POA.
That's correct.
And so some of we're involved, whether we like it or not.
Right.
And to the extent that we're involved, we need to have some kind of control over, you know, what these donations are doing to us, because there's a taxable impact.
Okay.
So I think it's a great start, and I'm a big proponent of it. I mean, yeah. I think it's awesome, and the impact on our community with the music, the coordination with Feast and Ski, the coordination with all the different things that we do with the poker run and all that. This could be a game changer.
Absolutely. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm big into music, and I'll stick my nose in there sometime and I'll be singing.
Hope not.
My fee will be, hey, and my fee will be low.
I just wanted to apologize for being late. Sorry, I was driving. I didn't think it was appropriate to be on Zoom on the road.
I do it all the time. It's really not that much of a problem.
We already voted your positions.
I figured as much.
It's not illegal until you touch your phone.
Oh, there you go. But anyhow, I wanted to apologize for that, because I know we were talking about the swimming pool stuff, and I'm sorry that I missed that. So I'll have to go back and do some rewatching.
Either that or just give Ken a call. He spoke for you, AJ, and he's got all the answers, and it did pass for your information. So, okay. With that, anyone else?
One last thing, if I may request, I don't know, maybe sometime before the annual meeting or the annual meeting, if we could get updates to our policy book, Brenda or Ken. I know mine is from 2016, and there are some inserts in there that are at least 2016 old.
I'm not Brenda, I'm Deborah. And I was sure that the last meeting you asked for that to be postponed to the new board. Is that not right?
All I asked for was a discussion on the book. What I'm asking for now is simply updates.
Updates on what policies you think need changed, or is that, am I following you right?
No, inserts. For example, there's a lake rule book that's from 2016. There's covenants.
I think he just wants updated printouts.
Bylaws that are outdated, just so that the board, at least especially the incoming board, has an updated policy booklet.
You want just new printouts? Is that what you want?
That's correct. Thanks for clarifying that. I'm glad you joined us, AJ.
See, I knew I had something to contribute.
100%.
Do we want to put that on a agenda item for the ops meeting, maybe? So that, I mean, it seems like I don't want to sound repetitious here, but it seems like, you know, we have a structure. We have ops meetings, we have board meetings, and we have forums, and we have all these other things in place. And then we get to the end of the meeting and, hey, I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about that, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. We've got to stick with structures. And in the ops meeting, I think that's a good time to bring up that particular item. I was going through my policy book the other day, and there are things that need to be improved. And not only we need to update them, but we also have to have an improvement of how they're put in the book, because you can't read everything with post holes in them. So that's an item we should talk about at the ops meeting, and thanks for bringing it up. Was I muted for the whole thing?
No. We got you. We got you.
We were just quietly listening to you.
Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.